What's happening, YouTube? Owen here from Dark Entertainment, the place to hear tales from Wales and afar. If you're into creepy stories donated to us by people like yourselves, then feel free to like and subscribe. Anyway, let's get into the video. Welcome to episode 1 of our true crime series. And before we start, a small disclaimer. The True Crime series is not meant for children. There are details that will be presented that are quite graphic, and the case itself is a tragic loss of life. Viewer discretion is advised. The horrific case of Cerys Yemm. In the early hours of November the 6th, 2014, police were called to an isolated hotel in a small village called in South Wales after a truly harrowing phone call. When officers arrived, they were met with a scene straight out of a horror film. Tonight we look at the tragic case of Cerys Yemm. Cerys Yemm was a 20-year-old girl living in Oakdale and had been struggling in a controlling relationship with her boyfriend. She had spent some time living in a refuge after the tumultuous relationship had ended before returning to her family home. However, their relationship blossomed once again after this break, and the pair moved in together. This closeness was unfortunately short-lived. During this time, her boyfriend was sent to prison. In prison, he met another inmate by the name of Matthew Williams. Williams had a disturbed history of drug and alcohol abuse, as well as a diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia that resulted in him spending a lot of his adult life in and out of prison. Despite his family desperately trying to seek help and support for Matthew, he still pursued a life of crime. His criminal record showed that he had 78 convictions, ranging from burglary to attacks on people. Cerys' boyfriend, knowing that he had just been released, warned her about Williams from inside the jail. Unfortunately, the warning did not have the desired effect. In late October of that year, Williams was released back into society. His mother had been seeking help for Matthew for when he returned from prison, but had been unable to find help in time. Like with many people suffering with drug and alcohol dependence, ultimately, the decision to accept help is down to the individual, and so Matthew did not accept the help that he needed. He continued to take drugs and was reportedly taking amphetamine straight after leaving prison. By all accounts, Matthew was a regular in the bar scene in Blackwood High Street and was regularly spotted in various pubs and clubs, but few people knew of his drug use and mental diagnosis of schizophrenia. Shortly after leaving prison, Williams hit the nightclubs, where by chance he bumped into Cerys Yemm. The pair began talking, but it's unclear whether Cerys knew that Matthew was the man her boyfriend had warned her about. The pair began talking and quickly formed a flirty relationship. Over the next couple of weeks, they met more and more frequently in the various pubs, and on the 5th of November, after a night of dancing and drinking, decided to leave together and head to the Cerys Arms Hotel, where Williams was lodging. The Cerys Arms Hotel was a hostel for homeless and those recently released from prison, and as a result, had a number of rules put in place for the protection of the guests. One of these rules was to sign in and out whenever leaving the property. Another rule was that no resident was to bring a partner back to the hotel after 11 p.m. in the evening. In the early hours of the morning on November the 6th, the residents of the building were awoken to the sound of screaming. A moment of confusion broke out, since Matthew had not signed in, and staff could only follow the sound of the screaming. The owner and manager of the hotel grabbed the keys to the rooms. Pushing residents and guests out of the way, she made her way to room 7. Matthew's room, which was now silent. She unlocked the door and opened it to reveal a truly horrific scene. A scene that would stay with her for the rest of her life. doing to that woman? At this point, Matthew looked up with black eyes and said in a chilling voice, "That's no woman." Mandy could see that Cerys had already passed away from her injuries. She slammed the door and locked it to prevent Williams from escaping before ringing the police. In the phone call, she screamed at the dispatcher, "He's eating her." Police arrived shortly after the phone call and proceeded to room 7. As they walked into the room, Matthews approached them. It's unclear what transpired from here on out, but the officer deployed a taser to subdue Williams, but it did not have the desired effect. The shock from the weapon resulted in a cardiac event, stopping Matthew's heart. When paramedics arrived, both Matthew Williams and Cerys Yemm were pronounced dead at the scene. Matthews had attacked Yemm with a screwdriver and had attempted to eat her face and eyeball. This case shocked me when I first heard it back in 2014. I was appalled with the sheer brutality and senseless loss of life. Cerys Yemm had her whole life ahead of her, and Matthew Williams had multiple opportunities to seek help. The results of bad decisions and tragic mistakes saw the abrupt end to 2 lives. I can only offer my sincere condolences to everyone affected by this horrendous event, and I hope that the families can now find peace. That's all from us here at Dark Entertainment. I hope that you've enjoyed the episode. It's a much darker episode than my others. If you would like more content like this, then subscribe to the channel, and we hope to see you soon. Ta-ta!